the reason people aren't calling you back, you're not finding the right people. Okay, I gave you ways to find the right people. When you're reaching out to them, you haven't warmed them up beforehand. So I'm giving you tips on how you can warm them up. And the third thing is you're not attractive when they research you. And what I mean by attractive is if you're a cybersecurity company and you're saying that, and they come look at your marketing material, it should say cyber, right? I don't mean, do you have a jacket on? So understand the idea of, I talk often about visibility as findability and attractiveness. Can they find you? And does your company represent what they searched for when they found you? If I search for cybersecurity, I want everything about you to scream cyber. So let's just talk about why it's important for you to be attractive when they research you. They're doing their due diligence. Well, if you're scheduling a meeting, especially if you're scheduling a meeting with a large prime or a government buyer, they want to know, why should I meet with you? And so I'm just doing some due diligence. Do I want to meet with this person? And when they do this research on you and you're attractive in the way that matches that search intent, they're going to see social proof. They want social proof that you are somebody they should meet with, right? And how they determine that is a whole nother training. But an example of how it happens with me is if somebody's connecting with me or wants to connect with me, one of the first things I see is how many connections in common do we have? That's a social proof. Were we both in the Army? Did we both go to the same school, right? But the big one for me is how many connections do we have in common? I can tell if it's a welder who just got on LinkedIn and they got 20 connections. I'm like, okay, so we're not gonna have a lot in common, but you're just coming over here because we told you to come to LinkedIn, right? That's different than somebody who's got 1,000 connections and we have hardly anybody in common. It makes me doubt whether we're in the same area, and I don't need to bring somebody like that into my feed. I don't have the time for it. And so your buyers do that same thing before they have a meeting with you. They're looking to say, do I want to pull you into my feed? Do I want to have a meeting with you and use 15 minutes or an hour? So when I talk about attractiveness, really, again, it's aligning what you sell to their needs. And so if they're in need of cybersecurity work and you do construction, there's no alignment. Why should I meet with you? Why should I call you back? The other thing is they're looking for consistency in message. So when they look at all your social media channels, websites, LinkedIn, et cetera, they want to see consistency across the board. Here's 3 places you can go check today to make sure there's consistency across the board for how attractive you are, how consistent you are with what you sell as a message. The dynamic small business search, get in there and make sure that you look great. Then go to your website and say, hey, are my services and my capability statement and my case studies all aligning to what we sell? Do they all kind of communicate the same message? And the last thing is your LinkedIn profile. Go in there and look at your LinkedIn profile. Do you have just a job title in your headline, or do you have something that says, I help this type of people, like I help federal agencies or whatever, I help these people do this thing in this way in order to achieve this result, right? You can watch the replay to see what I just said there. But that headline, if you say that, it's an attractive thing because they see it. They're like, oh, that's what I want. I'll meet with you because I want to talk more about that. And then your activity, they'll look into LinkedIn and say, are you active in LinkedIn? It doesn't mean they won't meet with you, but your activity will tell them whether you're aligned to them. So that's why it's really important to make sure your activity is driven towards what you sell. So make sure you're continuously updating those tools. Put be attractive into the chat if you understand that you need to be attractive to the buyer to match the search intent they have or the idea of what they think about your company. So as a recap, if you want people to call you back, call the right people, warm them up before you call them, and then be attractive when they look at you.